Good afternoon again, everybody. It is David Schlotthauer here in the home weather office with another detailed weather video today. But except this video, we're going to be talking about the dangerous heat that is going to be impacting much of the deep south of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, including for Arkansas, but also for Nevada, California, now Oregon, Washington at play here, with very dangerously hot temperatures across the four corners also. Now, if you are new to the channel and you really like these updates, please consider subscribing if you're new, hitting the like button, and sharing this video with your family and friends on social media. So to start off the video and discussion, I always like looking at the European model as far as precipitation chances go, who's going to get rain, who's going to get thunder and severe weather, but also who's going to get the dry conditions and sunny skies that will lead to these hot temperatures. So look at the afternoon run here on the European model. This is for July the 12th, 2023 on your fantastic Wednesday. We can see showers and thunderstorms here. There is a 10 sig for tornadoes in Illinois, but due to the spatial coverage and likely due to the low chances, I believe, for strong tornadoes, I am not going to go live on this for this event, but other events I will, as long as it's likely to happen and as long as it covers a huge area. But this is pretty small, but it is something to be noteworthy of with severe weather with the tornado watch there in northeastern Illinois as well as northwestern in portions there of Indiana. But otherwise, much of the country here pretty quiet, maybe some showers and storms here over northwestern Texas, but otherwise pretty quiet for the most part. Let's go all the way out to Thursday, tomorrow. There's that same system impacting the northeast, so maybe some gusty winds, some heavy rainfall with that storm, with some showers and storms across the southeastern U.S. Also for the high plains, yep, there's going to be some monsoonal activity over the high plains. So from northern Texas, western Oklahoma into western Kansas, western portion there of, say, Nebraska, you have a good shot at seeing some showers there. But also, let's not forget about portions of southeastern Arizona, southwestern New Mexico. You have a chance of showers and thunderstorms, but overall, don't get me wrong here, folks, much of the desert southwest will remain dry for this ridge of high pressure that builds on in. By Friday, this is July the 14th. Again, showers and storms across the southeast, the eastern seaboard, including for much of the Midwest. There will be some flood problems with some of these storms because there's a lot of moisture in the air. So a lot of weighted thunderstorms here capable of some pretty intense rainfall rates, possibly 1 to 2 inches an hour. By Saturday, July the 15th, more showers and storms for the eastern half of the U.S. mainly. That continues all the way through, say, Monday for July the 17th, with some showers and storms for the Ohio Valley, for the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. Maybe some more afternoon cloud buildups for the deep south there of Florida, including for the eastern seaboard. Not to mention, water temperatures down here are very warm, so going to be very muggy and humid and hot for Miami, for Ocala, for Orlando, Florida. So keep that in mind. Also, into Tuesday, the showers do continue, but not as widespread here, so possibly a quiet weather pattern coming. Maybe the return of some monsoonal activity here over the Rockies or over the Wasatch Front of Utah, and maybe for Flagstaff. But again, just a slim chance for the time being. But until we get into the middle of next week, hot and extremely dry for the four corners, including for California, Nevada, and the Pacific Northwest. So now that we talked about the precipitation, the big story in my past videos was going to be how hot is it going to be, this relentless mega heat wave that is going to break several records in many parts of this country, the four corners. If you're in say Phoenix, Arizona, Needles, if you're in Death Valley, oh my gosh, wait until you see the temperatures for Death Valley. It's bad. It is extremely possibly deadly at this point, with temperatures that could really get very hot there. Just wait, though. Spoiler alert. I don't want to spoil it for you all. But boy, Death Valley is going to be 1 in 4, possibly the historic records of the entire planet of Earth. Possibly, more than likely, all-time monthly records will be broken there, let alone. So temperatures in the valley for tomorrow between about 95 to 105 degrees. Yes, we're turning the heat up a little bit more tomorrow. Today, it's only in the mid-90s here, so it hasn't warmed up any further than what we had yesterday. Because the ridge hasn't built further north yet, but that is going to begin tomorrow, and you can see this happen. Temperatures about 111 for today in the desert southwest. Tomorrow it goes for 113, 112. Palm Springs probably about 109, 110 tomorrow. For Flagstaff, maybe 100 degrees. Phoenix, Arizona, about 110 to 112 tomorrow. For the Central Valley, between 101 to 106. So a little warmer for your Thursday, but it's really when we get into Friday when this ridge really builds in, and my goodness, the GFS not as aggressive as it has been yesterday and the days prior, but still 108 to 112 degrees across much of the Central Valley. Fresno, Bakersfield, 110, 107 there. Lodi, Elk Grove, Stockton, Modesto, probably about 104 to 106 degrees for your Friday. So really heating things up for Friday into the weekend. 115 down here. But it's only going to get worse, folks. I just repeat myself too many times on that. It's only going to get hotter. And speaking of hot, some areas might even reach 100 degrees as early as 9 or 10 in the morning. Yeah, 9 or 10 in the morning. You're already going to make a reach for the hundreds. You're going to stay there. And California, especially, Palm Springs, 117 degrees. Southeastern tip there of California on the border of Arizona, 117, 118. While it's not explicitly shown here, Death Valley will make a run for 126, 127 easily on Saturday. Even so, the GFS does not show it. Remember, the GFS does not see things mesily versus like the NAM 3 kilometer or the HRRR, which can see these temperatures much more at a finer detail. This is a global computer model and not a meso model. Look at Washington and Oregon, 104 up there. My goodness, that far north, that is roughly almost 50 degrees north in latitude, and it's going to be that hot. 119, 114, 118. I don't know if it's going to get that hot, but the GFS really worrying a lot of people here. And Sunday, I'm not trying to whine or gripe, but I'm telling you, some areas might even hit 100 an hour sooner on Sunday, 9 a.m. My goodness. And look at how hot it might get for the Central Valley. In fact, if we zoom in on this, zoom in moment, I call it, between 120, 122, I mean, I don't think it's going to get that hot, and there is some proof on that. If we look at the European model, you can see, actually, never mind, 120 degrees. Wow, that is very alarming by all standards. Only 119 in yesterday's model run, and 24 hours ago, only 118. So there has been a trend upward with temperatures, especially in Fresno, Bakersfield here. My freaking goodness. 120 degrees, 116, 118 degrees in the northern Sacramento Valley. Even look at the high deserts here. 106 degrees. The GFS, if you want to look at that, 108 degrees there at about 4,000 to 5,000 feet. That is absolutely tremendously concerning. That being that high up, you're going to see temperatures that hot. Man, that's very concerning. And then by the time we go into Monday, temperatures between 110 to 115 degrees. A little cooler though. Desert Southwest going to be really hot, in excess of 110 degrees for quite a few more days. Maybe for the next 7 days, Phoenix could reach at or above 110 degrees. Yeah, it's probably where we're headed at this point. And then going all the way to the end of next week, temperatures still right around 100 for the Central Valley, depending on what model run you look at. So now, another tool that I like to use, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, is the 850 millibar temperatures. My local news station, Mark Finan, you may have heard of him if you watch KCR83 News in the evening hours on weekdays. He looks at the 850 millibar level, and by no doubt we have to look at that too, because it gives us an idea with what our temperature profile is going to be like. If warmer air is building in, which will likely lead to more surface heating that is more stronger than, say, if there's colder air aloft, we're not able to warm up as quickly. So this is a very important parameter at showing us just how warm it might get for the weekend. So let's take a look at the GFS for Thursday morning. These temperatures, by the way, are measured in Celsius, so convert that to Fahrenheit. So roughly 26 Celsius is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. If you go up to 30 Celsius, it's temperatures in the mid to upper 80s at 5,000 feet. Okay, so kind of take that in consideration when you're looking at maps like this. So going forward for Thursday afternoon, we can see this dome of hot air going to really be building in slightly, 23 Celsius along or around the Central Valley. So maybe 1 to 3 degrees warmer for tomorrow. Not so much more tomorrow, but really on Friday is when we really get cooking with the heat wave here. By Friday, you can see this bubble of hot air. See how it goes further north? See this? See the difference with those temperatures? Gonna really warm things up. All right, so this is for Friday. Let's go into Saturday. Yeah, look at this. Very concerning. Now we're looking at temperatures right around 30 Celsius at 5,000 feet over the Central Valley. And again, why this is important is because when we have warm air aloft, that surface parcel is able to recover and really heat up. And I'll show you a sounding more on that in just a bit. Okay, because this really means a lot when we look at 850 millibars this hot. Okay, and it might even warm up even more on Sunday. That's why probably Sunday right now, it's going to be iffy here. Maybe plus or minus 1 to 2 degrees for Sunday. 2 degrees cooler or maybe 2 degrees warmer than Saturday. All right, so that means the valley here could make a run for 31 to 34 Celsius at 5,000 feet. You bring that down to the surface, you got temperatures that reach right around 110, 115 degrees at best at the moment. And then temperatures come down, those low-level temperatures there, down to 28 Celsius. And then we kind of lose this heat dome by Tuesday and by Wednesday. And therefore, temperatures too will come down with those upper-level temperatures. So another product that I like to look at is this is out of Fresno Yosemite International Airport. If you know where Fresno is in California, you know what I'm talking about if you're a local in California. So 850 millibars now, again, kind of looking at this perimeter, but on a sounding, I'll show you why that 850 millibar temperature is quite important. So I'm going to draw a black line here. Okay, so let's bring that up. So this black line is roughly where the 850 millibar level is. So different levels, different pressure readings, right? Or different static pressures, I should say. So pay attention to this right here. Okay, so I'm even going to box this in red so you all can really get an understanding with what area that I'm really looking at here on a sounding. Pay attention to this. Okay, so we're going to go through Wednesday. This is this afternoon. Notice how the temperatures aloft really warm up. So by Friday, see how much warmer that is? Really, it just comes up. Actually, more specifically, if we look even at this level right here, okay, right above the 850 millibar level, you can see the line move to the right. Means temperatures are warming aloft. So that warming, what that's going to do is that is going to allow these temperatures at the surface. If we back this up, see how this thing kind of goes back and forth? That's actually your diurnal and nocturnal warming and cooling. So you can see at night it cools, right? But not as much because these temperatures are warming aloft. And then during the day it reaches about say about 105, 109 degrees on Thursday in Fresno. But look at, not as cold at night because these temperatures are warming aloft. And then it warms up a little more because these temperatures aloft are warming in unison. So now we got temperatures on Saturday that are nearly super 80 abat. You can see this red line right here going off towards the left. Really, really strong surface heating, warming temperatures aloft. That is going to just be a miserable day in Fresno, to say the least. And unfortunately, this doesn't go all the way out to Sunday, but with these temperatures warming up maybe a little more on Sunday, we might even breach 50 Celsius. That is 120 degrees Fahrenheit. That is pretty substantial when you think about that. So that's what this perimeter shows, the 850 millibar temperatures, and now you know what to look for on a sounding, because warmer air aloft, you're able to mix that inversion out more quickly, more efficiently than, say, if the air is colder aloft, you're able to not get inversions that form very easy. That's why your marine layer along the coast, if you're local in California, the marine layer will fluctuate. Sometimes it's shallower, sometimes it's squashed, sometimes it's really deep, and it's all because of that inversion. Okay, hence the marine layer. So now we're going to switch gears, and we're going to look at the National Weather Service here, okay? And then we're looking at Texas daytime high temperatures. This is sickening, okay? Lots and lots of excessive heat warnings here. And wait until you see my heat risk map that I'll show you here in a little bit. Lots and lots of pink colors in Oklahoma, Texas. Look at all the oranges on your screen. That is heat advisories, including for southern Florida. Yeah, with those water temperatures, humidity, it's going to make it feel very miserable. And now it looks like Utah and portions of Nevada under excessive heat watches because of how hot this air mass is going to be. It is not just the deep south folks that are going to see the hot temperatures, but look at this across the entire west coast. All of Arizona, pretty much, all of California, most of Nevada, and portions of, say, Oregon, under heat advisories, heat warnings, excessive heat warnings, that is, excessive heat watches. I mean, yikes. That is... haven't seen anything like this since September, at least, this widespread. So it's not just going to be in one location, but it is going to be pretty much all across the deep south and the Intermountain West. Really going to be cooking, I repeat. And cooking means you might be frying eggs on Death Valley's surface. We'll be looking at that in just a second. So now, back to Weather Bell we go. I wanted to show you why it's going to be hot. So another level to look at here is the 800 or 500 millibar geopotential height. I've talked about this in previous videos, so I'm not going to get into a whole lot of detail, but just so you know, thicker heights mean warmer temperatures usually. Not always, but it correlates quite well. So as we go forward in time here, you can see how this high builds in. We've been talking about this in previous videos, how this high is going to evolve quite well, and it's going to build northward with time. And so by the time we go into, say, Friday, we got a 597, and by Saturday, building almost up to 600 decameters right over here, which is pretty significant. So big heat dome going to be in place across much of the West. And not only that, Texas, we got a little bit of a ridge here that's going to nose in, and that's why Texas is going to be cooking for the weekend as well. But look at this. By the time we go into Sunday, 600 decameters, that's a strong ridge. And by the time we go into early next week, this ridge hopefully is going to be far enough east with time that hopefully Central California will be able to cool off nicely, at least out of the 110 to 115 degree temperature range. By the time we go into the next 10 days, that ridge finally really erodes. So really quickly, I wanted to show you all the surface temperatures in Texas. Pretty much self-explanatory. Temperatures between 107 to 110 degrees. Northern Texas is going to be absolutely insane how hot it actually is going to get there for tomorrow. It's going to feel like 112, so thank goodness it's not going to feel any hotter than it could be, but it's going to be a little muggy out there nevertheless. And then Look at this. By Friday, July the 14th, not as hot, but still anywhere between 106 to 109 degrees. And then still continuing that heat dome over Texas. Oklahoma gets some relief with those thunderstorms, thank goodness, but still pretty hot for Texas through Monday through Tuesday. Actually, this is Monday here, 110 again, and then perhaps maybe back up into right around 110 to 113 degrees by the middle of next week. My goodness. No relief perhaps over Texas or Oklahoma, at least through Wednesday. Time for the heat risk map forecast. This is a very critical perimeter that I always like to look at, all right, because it gives us what the heat risk is going to be. Magenta, that's a level 4. That is extreme. That is the worst category you could have with very hot temperatures. That means potentially life-threatening heat stroke, heat-related illnesses are anticipated if actions are not taken. So we can see down here, this is for today, Midland, Carlsbad, Roswell in New Mexico and Texas, extreme heat risk today. Even across Las Cruces, going to be very hot, and that's why you're under a major to extreme heat risk. But this is probably as good of a heat risk you're probably going to get for the majority of the population, because on Thursday it gets warmer, and then look at this. We're introducing moderate to major heat risks across California, across Portland, Oregon, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Phoenix under major to near extreme heat risk. But look at this for Saturday. Yuck, 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 yuck. Pink, or wait, that's magenta over Phoenix, Las Vegas, looking at extreme heat risks. If you're in Barstow, Death Valley for sure. Death Valley, no doubt. You're going to see a magenta extreme heat risk there, and across much of the Central Valley in California, Reno, major to extreme heat risk. Then on Sunday, probably more widespread. Look at this. Bakersfield, magenta, Fresno, magenta, Modesto, Stockton, Sacramento, Lodi, major heat risk, and Chico, magenta, Redding, possibly in the magenta. Now, the reason why there is also the magenta colors in the foothills is because overnight lows only in the 80s, perhaps, between 79 to 84 degrees at night. It's not very cold at all. Fresno, in fact, might only get down into the mid-80s at night, whereas the desert southwest here for the Great Basin in Victorville might only see temperatures at night in the upper 80s, low 90s. Las Vegas, low 90s at night. Phoenix, maybe low 90s, mid-90s at night. Death Valley, only in the triple digits at night, is as cold as you're gonna get. I don't think you call that cold very much. And then still a big deal on Monday, but look at the heat risk getting shaved down quite a bit on Monday. And then by Tuesday, maybe back down into the minor and moderate risks in California. All you need to know is the heat is going to be something else. You'll also want to know what something else is, how hot it's going to be in Death Valley. And I've talked about this in previous videos. In yesterday's video, Death Valley is going to be only a few degrees away from an all-time world record breaking temperature. I repeat, a world record breaking temperature. We're not talking monthly records or daily records. Those are easy to beat. But Death Valley might make world headlines on Twitter because of how hot it's going to be. 115 now, that's probably really good. It's not that bad compared to with what you're about to see. Let's see here. Tonight, 88. Tomorrow, 119. Thursday night, 92. That's pretty warm. 124 on Friday. 95 Friday night. And then, wow, 129. 99, maybe even 100 perhaps Saturday night. And look at that, 130. I cannot find a 131, but I know it's somewhere around here. But either way, 130, 131 won't matter too much because overnight lows right around 100 to 104 with daytime highs well in excess of 125 degrees. That is brutal. That is deadly. You cannot be out in that at all. And I mean, when it cools down next week, still over 125 degrees. So this could last 7+ days with temperatures at or above 125 degrees in Death Valley. Speaking of that, tomorrow's 120. So already going to be relentless. It's going to be miserable. All right. Now, before I end the video, please stay hydrated. I repeat, stay hydrated. Unless you're in a flood-prone area, then you may not need to stay as hydrated. By the way, there is a tornado watch in northeastern portion there of Illinois, northwestern Indiana, but that's probably going to expire here in the next couple of hours. Flooding, again, over these areas, heavy rainfall will lead to that. But otherwise, the big story is going to be these hot temperatures. And I mean, I cannot say it more than what I can say. Extreme to perhaps in rare occasions for Death Valley could be deadly heat wave on the way. So make sure you guys stay hydrated, limit outdoor activities before 9 in the morning because, man, or after 9 in the morning, that is, because it's going to be pretty bad. All right, but that's going to do it with this video, folks. Share, like, and subscribe, and I'll be back with you more tomorrow with another detailed on this brutal heat wave.